Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Colleen Coffey, and I'm here from Nashville, Tennessee. I grew up in Music City, USA. I am a part of the National Mental Health Awareness Campaign. Our organization was started at the White House Conference on Mental Health in 1999 to help erase the stigma that surrounds mental health issues in our country. I'm part of our Speakers Bureau. We're called the HEARD, H-E-A-R-D. As in those that have been listened to. You don't have to have a mental disorder to have issues with your mental health. I mean, our mental health can be affected by stress, breakups, divorce, death, lack of sleep. Who got more than 7 hours of sleep last night? Congratulations! You are absolutely in the minority, okay? Most people that you interact with during the day are tired, overworked, underappreciated, and in general, stressed out. And those are things that really just affect our mental health. All right, so why am I here? Why did they fly this little woman from Nashville, Tennessee in to talk to you about mental health issues? Like, what am I going to tell you that you don't already know? Well, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be so angry that I can't control myself. I know what it's like to be so sad that I cannot get out of bed. I know what it's like to be so anxious that I don't want to leave my house, and I know what it's like to be so preoccupied by food and exercise that I don't really live life. But I also worked really hard at being thin. At my littlest, I had worked so hard that I could barely stand. I was so weak and so tired that I couldn't even think. I barely ate, and I abused laxatives in mass quantity. I was so malnourished that my heart could have stopped, but I kept going. I kept going, and people noticed. And thank goodness that someone who noticed said something. She spoke up, and I was sent home on a plane back to Nashville, Tennessee, where I met my parents, who I hated, in the airport. And they informed me that I was going to be going to the mental hospital. This did a lot for our relationship. I experienced my first full-blown panic attack. Now, this feels like being nervous times 1,000. Like, my heart was racing, but I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't feel my hands or my feet or my teeth, and I had trouble articulating anything except for my name. And it was terrifying. It subsided. After about a week or so, that panic eventually subsided. But my whole last years in college, I was sort of in this fog. And I didn't turn to a psychiatrist. I didn't turn to a medical doctor. I didn't turn to a counselor, because in my mind, I kind of felt like, I've spent my chances with therapy. If they couldn't help me when I was in the 8th grade, they probably can't help me now. Maybe I'm just sort of a lost cause. I started adding minutes and then sometimes hours to my workouts. I developed a very small list of specific safe foods from which I would allow myself to eat. And if I ate anything off that safe foods list, I would binge and purge with laxatives again, because, hey, I failed. I failed the only thing that I have the ability to control. The potential harm that I was causing to my body was paramount. People with eating-related disorders can suffer from a loss of bone density, muscular atrophy, diabetes, and even death. Of all of the mental disorders out there, eating-related disorders have the highest mortality rate. What we know about mental disorders is that they are a product of biology or environment or both. So what do I mean by that? Biology. It's hereditary. My father has anxiety disorder. My mother has depression and eating-related issues. I received them both. Congratulations to me. It is part of my biology. Environment. Negative environments. Environments that are abusive. For me, change in my environment can trigger these mental disorders. But it's important to note that not everyone with biology or environment or both will necessarily wind up with a mental disorder. I'm not cured. I went back into my 2nd year of graduate school, and I entered a pretty intensive treatment program where I regularly saw a psychiatrist, a medical doctor, a nutritionist, and a therapist for help. I wish I could tell you that I'm cured, but I'm not cured. But I'm better today than I was yesterday. And I'm going to be better next year than I am right now, but each and every single day is a struggle for me. Whatever you're going through, I think we can all relate to that. You know, those choices that we make in life that dictate, you know, the path that we're going to take. Like, do I study or do I party? Do I play in the game or do I sit this one out? Do I lay in bed or do I get up and face the world? So why do I do this? Why do I speak? I speak for so many reasons, but mostly for little Colleen, because I wish that someone had told her and her community that being vulnerable is sometimes so valuable. And so what do? What can you do? You can listen, believe, and tell. You can recognize if anything that I have said resonates with you, or you feel like she's basically talking about my friend. Talk to someone, even if it's for 10 minutes. Go to a counselor, go to an adult that you trust, and speak up. The bravest thing that I have ever done is having the courage to be listened to. I expect and hope for you that you too will have the courage to be heard. For more information on what you can do, please log on to our website. It's www.nostigma.org.